Good evening, everyone, and welcome to DTech Dialogues. We are so excited to have all of you join us, such a diverse and intelligent crowd joining us for today's session. Uh, Really, both technology as well as medical fields excite you and they excite us as well. So, there is a common thread that we all share. So, of course, today's session is also well thought of and well planned. And our speakers have taken a lot of effort because they are about to share some really pragmatic tips with you, which will help you not only in your professional field, but also maybe personally. So, with that, let me just share uh, some basic insights on DTech as a group and DTech Con, our flagship conference that is coming up soon. So just to share with all of you, the history of DTech all around the world, we had, although, technology is advancing so quickly, there were only two meetings that were focused on technology in the field of diabetes and metabolic disorders. And that was namely the ATTD, the Advanced Technologies and Treatments for Diabetes, the conference that happens every year across Europe, and then the Diabetes Technology Society in North America. But besides that, the rest of the world didn't really have much of a global network or anything of the sort. And that's where DTech was conceived by six founders with a very common thinking and great futuristic planning. So DTech was founded, and DTech Con, which is the World Congress of Diabetes Technology, is the flagship conference of this group, which is now in its fourth year and a very, very exciting year as well. This was the first one during the COVID times in 2022, which was online but very well attended. And the faculty, as you can see, is global. The next one was a physical one in New Delhi, and again, a very exciting one with all the global experts in the field were there to share their opinions, their experiences, and of course, their expertise. Next, after that, we had one in Kerala, which was also a thumping success. And within a week of completing the Kerala conference, we had more than 150 registrations for this year. And this year coming up soon in the month of May from 9th to 11th, May is our next DTech Con in Jaipur. So look at all our advisors, our patrons. They are the world's or the global leaders in diabetes and tech. Our six founders, Dr. Banshi Sabu sir, our organizing chairman, Dr. Rakesh Parekh, our organizing secretary, both founders. Then we also have Dr. Prateek Chaudhary, who's the scientific chair from the UK, and Dr. Amit Gupta, scientific co-chair, Dr. Jyoti Dev Kesav Dev, the president, Dr. Manoj Chawla, secretary, Dr. Mithun Bhatia, treasurer. And these six, barring Dr. Prateek Chaudhary, are the founders of DTech and have taken personal interest in taking this forward. So this year, yes, we are 37 days only away from the World Congress of Diabetes Technology and Therapeutics 2025 in Jaipur. We had an overwhelming response for the abstract submission. Thank you all. Thank you for that interest and thank you for your endeavors. And that was closed on 15th, and we really have been overwhelmed with the response. The IGDT Editor's Choice DTech Yearbook has also been recently closed, as you all know. And again, we've been really happy and glad that this was the first time we tried this, and an amazing response has been received. The publication committees have also been closed. Again, there was a fantastic thumping response for the same from all of you and others as well. Well, now what's open is the insulin pump school. Register soon. The CGM Academy will be open almost to everyone, so be rest assured there. Again, as you all know, it's really a conglomerate of those interested in medicine, in diabetes, and technology. So we have a whole lot of startups participating. We have industry partners. Of course, we have healthcare providers and medical doctors. We also have, interestingly, end users. And yes, there is a space for the investors as well. So DTechCon is a platform for great networking and great camaraderie as well. And you will know how much you will be able to, you will know how much you will be exposed to and how much information you will be really grasping at this conference. To be announced soon is the AI Live workshop, the DIY Artificial Pancreas hands-on workshop, also the DTech, the JP Bose orations, keynote lectures, and the scientific program, which is really in full speed. It's underway and it will be released very, very soon. The travel grant applications were received and again, they have been communicated. We will be probably sharing the results too. We have shared them on the groups. And with that, I bring you to the codes. Do scan them to join the WhatsApp group as well as the DTech WhatsApp channel. So with that, I don't want to take more time between you and our wonderful workshop that's been planned today, the DTech Dialogues. And let me just, can we have the slides, please? Let me introduce you to this very dynamic panel that we have today. Leading the pack is Dr. Alok Modi. I think these days I can say that we all know Dr. Alok Modi. He is everywhere and he is a senior physician and cardio-diabetologist from Thane, Mumbai. And he's fellow of American College of Physicians, fellow of Indian Society of Hypertension, has several other academic accolades to his credit, has been very, very proactive in the field of AI and co-authored several chapters and articles as well. And he, I think, recently became the treasurer of the AMC as well. I don't think it's on the CV, but I know this. So welcome, Dr. Alok. Very happy to have you with us.
Thank you, Purvi. Thank you for the kind words.
Dr. Harsh Hirani, he is he is very, very well known in this sphere and this field, and we are very happy that he has agreed to be on DTech Dialogues because we would love everyone to know him and benefit from the experience and the expertise he has. So he is a young diabetologist and winner of Torrent Young Scholar Awards for Best Oration, completed his masterclass trainings in diabetes therapeutics and technology from Joslin Diabetes Center in Boston University in the US. He's had several very, very dynamic courses under his sleeve, and he is very well versed with AI as well. So welcome, Dr. Harsh. We are looking forward to learning from you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for those kind words of introduction.
Next, we have Dr. Neil Joshi. I don't know today if he's in India or in the UK, but he's a GMC UK registered doctor, MBBS, and an AI expert. Very, very excited to have him here as well. He's at such a young age. He's been taken as creative partner at Luma Labs AI, also creative partner in the program at Pika AI Labs, and so on and so forth. You can see the entire list here. and he also was part of the human genes and how they are investigated for gene therapy at the University of Oxford, this particular program, and has been featured on the Economic Times and Money Control for technological innovations. So, as you can see, our team is diverse and very dynamic. And I would hand it over to them for a very important and practical topic that we have taken up today, which is leveraging AI for powerful presentations. I think is Dr. Neil going first or Dr. Harsh?
Yeah, I'll be going first.
Great.
So, do we have permission to go ahead?
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, just let me know as the screen gets visible. Is the screen visible?
It is.
Yes. Are we on full screen now?
Yes, we are.
Perfect. So, at the outset, I would like to acknowledge this amazing opportunity by the entire DTech consortium, all the founders, respected patrons and advisors, as well as Dr. Purvi ma'am for curating this initiative as a DTech dialogue. So, this is a great honor and privilege to be part of it. So, I'll be touching. So, the entire structure of our today's session is going to be, the theme is contextualize, create, and captivate. So these are the three core pillars for any medical presentation to be impactful. So I'll be starting and touching base on the contextualizing part of the whole content, how to really build a good content for a presentation. And with this brief introduction, these are my disclosures. There's no financial interest or conflict of interest with any of these materials in the presentation. Any product name or proprietorship LLMs which are mentioned are intended solely for the illustration and does not imply any form of endorsement. And AI tools have been utilized to summarize and prepare this presentation also. So with this brief introduction, let me start with 5 unique challenges we face when we are starting to create any form of medical presentation, whether it's a research presentation, whether it's a case presentation, or any form of content based presentation. So time constraints, medical professionals, all of us, we face a lot of significant time constraints. It's a labor intensive process. Traditional presentations creation is very much time consuming. The literature is constantly evolving. Newer evidence is the rate at which newer evidence is what we are seeing now versus what things were probably say 10 years back. There's a huge shift. The world is more well connected now. The data exchange is more dynamic now than what things were 10 years back. So there's a pace at which literature evolves, and to keep up with that, to build your presentations is itself a challenge. The needing of accuracy, and the most important, the expertise in the designing aspect of a presentation. So all these aspects, become the four, top 5 challenges when it comes to building the presentation, a good, impactful presentation. If we look at the AI solution, where AI has transformed the way to build these presentations. If we start, first thing it does is it gives a very dynamic, transformative workflow of your presentation. The second thing it does is it saves ton of research time, especially when you're finding a relevant content or when you're doing literature review. It's going to save a lot of time. The third one is enhanced visualization. Like now only if you see on this very slide, you see this pen, you see this clock, you see this bars, right? All these are AI done. Now manually, if I'm going to pick up an icon and place it above every line, it's not going to use my medical intelligence. It's a pure labor process, right? So this AI can, do the heavy lifting. And the last part, it allows the key focus on the core medical expertise rather than focusing on the content creation expertise. So that's the beauty of integrating AI. Now, looking at the step 1 of the process of building the presentation. So if we start with this, I think the first step, what comes in content, content aspect, when we want to contextualize a whole structure of a presentation, it comes the content review itself. A traditional flowchart, if we see, it would involve a very unique 6-step process. Like we would be starting with the first one is defining the question. What is it that we really want to talk? The topic, like clearly articulating the specific question about what you want to research. The second is gathering relevant studies or relevant references for that information you want to build upon the presentation. Creating the evidence summary, right? The fourth one is verifying those outputs, because see, we have to remember AI does hallucinate a lot, right? And The next one is identifying of the gaps, followed by the visual aspect of the entire presentation, even for the evidence itself, like visual graphs, visual pie charts. So all these aspects from the evidence. Looking at the implementation aspects. Now, what is the difference? What AI is able to give when it comes to implication? Implementation of all these steps into an actual presentation. A traditional approach would require anywhere between 8 to 10 hours to build a rock solid presentation, with all those 6 parameters under check. But with AI, you could do it in less than 1 hour. Today, towards the end of the session, once you finish this 1.5 hours of our training with us, you will be confident that in less than 1 hour you should be able to do this. And now, this implementation workflow can be simplified in a more simpler way using AI, where the presentation objectives and audience is the first thing we feed to the AI system wherever we are working on. So now we are shifting gears. We are now shifting from traditional to the AI based approach. So the first communication to the AI is about defining the objective of the presentation and defining the audience. Who is it that this is getting addressed to? Is it to a medical student? Is it to a doctor who is a specialist of certain domain? Is it to a non-doctor paramedical team? Is it to a common audience, a common man? So the defining of the audience is very critical. The second aspect is selecting of the appropriate AI tools. So we're gonna show you a lot of interesting AI tools. So you will have to decide which one is for what. We are also going to be educating on that. So specific AI tool for each of the component, creating detailed prompts for content generation, implementation of verification of the information, integrating the visual elements, and then conducting a final review for accuracy and the flow. And the last one is document that AI assistance has been used for this presentation. So now let me start with this foundation of the entire concept of our session today with some of the AI tools which are available for medical content creation. So starting with the large language models, the most commonly used AI tools, whether you take it ChatGPT, Claude, or say MedPalm, these are all freemium models. But then there are also some amazing open source models. There's a tool called Mistral. It's one of the most accurate tools for creating medical content. We have Llama 3 as well now pacing up. So these are the tools from large language models. Then we have certain healthcare specific AI assistants such as Medcat, Clamp NLP, and there are certain paid versions as well, just such as ADA DX, Isabel, Visual DX. So these are all certain paid versions, right? Literature search tools, Elicit.org, one of the best tools available right now. Perplexity, Consensus AI, these are all very useful in finding the content. So now, as we are wanting to start with the content search, these tools are going to be very handy. I'm going to be showing live demo of many of these in the next few slides. So for visual content generation, we have certain tools like Canva, Beautiful AI, Flourish, and Dr. Neil is going to shed amazing light on these kind of visual tools. So he's going to create the captivating side of building the presentation by discussing a lot of interesting tools. Now let's begin with the first live demo of the first tool, which is for research enhancement or rather content enhancement, right? The first tool I'm going to cover today is Elicit.org. It's a specialized research assistant for medical literature, summarizes findings across multiple papers, and mind it picks only high index papers, right? Identifies conflicting evidence and research gaps. Now, why this tool is very unique? There are so many AI tools now, but why Elicit? Why choosing it, and on a priority? Because friends, this tool is used by researchers at Google, researchers at Stanford, researchers at NASA. So that's the level of credibility of the information what gets generated using this tool. So now once you open elicit.com, you're going to see a kind of login page like this here. As you can see, once you sign up, you'll be asked to either with a Google account or a fresh account. Once you do that, this is how your home page is going to appear. So now for the sake of just taking a live example, I'm going to show you this example where I have put a comparative efficacy of GLP-1 receptor agonist versus dual GLP-GIP agonist on cardiovascular outcomes and glycemic control in patients with type 2 diabetes. Now, I want a literature-based analysis on this topic because let's take a hypothetical topic for my presentation, right? This is the topic I want to talk about. So what I'm doing is I'm putting this as the objective. I've defined the objective of this presentation. I've defined the topic of this, the subject of this. And now the first step, what this tool does beautifully is it evaluates the question itself, that how strong is your question. In fact, अगर question में ही there's no substance to the question, it will mark that you need to correct your question with these things, right? But as I followed the basics of framing the right topic, it's saying it's a great question. You're able to see here the moment we put any subject or a question with this, and it gives a green go like this, we're going to see initially summary of top 4 papers which are written on this subject globally from the entire research database across the globe, which are high impact. And this summary is of 4 papers. Now, along with it, we're going to see those individual papers as well. We're going to see multiple papers, but the first brief summary is only of 4 papers. Right now, we're able to see second paper, third paper, fourth paper. You see here the citation also you're able to see, right? 21 citations, right? So multiple papers you will get to see, and the outcome of that paper you'll be able to see on the side. So you don't have to go on the paper and read it entirely. Now let's say I'm going to pick one of these papers after reading. So let's see, this is the terzepatide one, where it's looking at certain aspects of the cardiovascular outcomes. Then there's an paper which is an RCT, right? Then another one is where your ability stroke associated treatment and cardiovascular major risk of major adverse CVOT and stroke associated with treatment of GLP-1 or dual, GIP. So these are certain options it has given me. Now the next step is, suppose I go ahead with this, and let's say I pick one of the papers. Let me pick this one, say comparative effectiveness part. And if I want to look into a deeper one, if I look at the efficacy and safety aspect of it, there's also an option here to get it in PDF. So I can actually save the paper as a PDF. If you saw, I don't even need to go to the actual site, right? Now once I've saved, so let's say I'm because this is just a live tester example. Let's say I've taken 3 papers from that that list of 10 or 12 papers, which I felt very impactful and relevant to what I'm really wanting to build the presentation upon. I've just downloaded them as documents, and now I go to our evertime friend, the LLM friend of all of us, which is ChatGPT, and just upload these 3 documents into the ChatGPT. You see a plus button here. You will be seeing on your ChatGPT as well. That's where you get an option to upload the documents. So the moment I upload it, now I'm going to ask it to give me a basic structure. Okay, this is not the complete presentation, friends. I'm just going to prompt it to give me a structure of the presentation. Just define the context of slides, not the actual content, right? Just the context of the slides. So now I'm gonna just ask it to write me presentation slides. Slide wise, I just want the content to be organized, not the detailed one, just the context, right? So I've just given a nice prompt, where I'm describing that, okay, this is a compelling evidence-based 15 minutes presentation which I want to look out on this subject. And now the most important thing is last few words which I'm typing, which is I'm asking it to stay restricted to the above knowledge from these files uploaded. If I don't say this, AI is AI. It's like a super intelligent child which doesn't have a direction. It'll give any kind of fake nonsense information. It'll give irrelevant information. It'll even cook up, fake resources and fake points or fake statistics. To prevent that, this is very, very critical to be commanded in your prompt whenever you are uploading something and getting it, extract the information from it. Now you see the magic, right? Because I've asked it to stay restricted to the above knowledge. What it's doing is it's actually giving me a beautiful structure, a context of the entire presentation. The content is yet to build up, friends. This is just the structure, right? It's even giving me that what kind of visual elements will be relevant for this, right? It's giving me that a diagram, a forest plot showing pooled mace and stroke reduction from that third paper which was there. Again, a line graph of HbA1c versus weight loss across the trials, right? It's advising me that these visual aspects I should be adding it. These aspects. So, friends, more or less the structure of what I'm really wanting to do is ready, right? So the first aspect of building the content for your medical presentation is the structure. Once you're okay with the structure, we now look at one more type of tool. So let me just give a short break here. In terms of the flow of this presentation, what we saw right now was Elicit AI, right? That's where we could get the structure from that basic prompt which was given. Now I'm going to show you a second type of AI engine. Again, a brilliant AI engine which can help in building the basic content, or rather the information of literature search, So again, a real-time literature search is possible with citations in this tool. Information synthesis is pretty great, and recent guidelines it identifies beautifully, and even the consensus statements it picks really well. So if this kind of topics you're searching or you're building the presentation on, it's a brilliant way to use this tool. So this is how the Perplexity tool looks like when you once you log in. This is how you'll see the home screen. I'm again going to show you a live demo on how do you really log in and go forward. So this is again, I'm defining the same question. I'm not changing anything. It's just the same question, right? Everything is as it is, right? So I'm just giving it a go. I'm just asking me to give me latest articles, okay, which are on this subject, right? I'm just giving it a go. And I'm asking to give with DOI numbers. Why? Because DOI numbers for any article is the fastest way to identify a fake article. Is it a fake one or it's a genuine one? And it really speeds up your process of identifying the right article for your subject. Right. So now it's brilliantly, as you can see here, it's finding across the internet. It's going through its own literature information, all or the not the server knowledge database it has of its own, and it's building up beautifully. Right, another few seconds you'll be seeing a list of articles with their DOI numbers. Right now, all I have to do is go on these articles. Right, it's going to give me a nice summary on how it has gathered this information, and you can see here key recent studies with DOIs. Right, all I have to do is I just need to copy the DOI number, open the article, download the article, and then the process remains the same what we did in ChatGPT, which is again uploading of these PDF files and getting it work to extract the structure of the presentation. Yes. So with this brief introduction, now we enter the step 2 of content generation using the AI tools. So now, because our structure is ready, it's time to optimize that structure, convert that context to a content. That's the shift we are going to do with this. Now, there are again some very interesting tools for this. So, but before we step into the tools, again, a very important aspect is on prompt engineering here, because now our structure is ready. It's very important to prompt it in the right way to create the final content of the presentation, being specific about the medical context, what we are looking at, requesting evidence levels, citation for all the claims of the information, what you're going to see. So when you're creating a prompt, please be careful to consider all these points, specify the audience expertise, whether it's a specialist audience where this presentation is getting catered to, or is it a general audience. Ask for specific formatting for medical data, whether you want tables, algorithms, and request for differential considerations or alternative viewpoints. Now, friends, this is a small gift from my side to the entire DTech community and everyone who is attending right now. I'm going to give you one golden prompt, which we have used hundreds of times in building our amazing presentations. So I'm now going to give you a reusable prompt. This is like a gold mine, which will yield you any 15-minute high impact presentation you're looking for. And this is the prompt. So I'm going to request everyone to please take a screenshot. We're going to pause it for a few seconds here. So this is the detailed prompt, which is going to convert that context into a superb content of your presentation, right? So creating a compelling evidence-based 15-minute medical presentation on the topic. Insert your topic here. Just remove this bracket, put whatever topic you want to build your presentation on. Structure it for a professional medical audience. Example, physicians, specialists, researchers. So define it, who you're addressing this with the following. Now, these 9 points are the true game changers. So all you need to do is just copy paste this form, modify these things, add the subject, and now I'm going to show you a live demo of what magic this is going to do on your content, right? So let's go forward. Now, as we did the same process, I'm just repeating it for showing it again. This is how you upload it on your ChatGPT. I've just pasted the prompt and I'm modifying certain points. This is the human in the loop when it comes to the AI play around. Again, I'm asking it to stay restricted to these 3 articles, right? Stay the knowledge restriction to these 3 articles. What we've taken in the first case, it's the continuation of the same. Now here, the only thing which has changed is this detailed prompt, like the detailed structure, right? All those 9 points where I'm clearly suggesting what kind of visual suggestions I want. I need charts, tables, and figures to enhance the clarity of the content, right? So this is how we are going ahead. Now, as we move forward, all these aspects, we have done it. So this is the beautiful, complete, I repeat, this is a complete presentation, what I'm getting it, including the opening. How should I be orally opening my presentation? Even that it's giving me. So that's the power of this prompt, friends. Now, because it has created a perfect blend of every single aspect what this presentation is. You're able to see this how beautifully why this topic matters. Core scientific concepts, mechanism of action. It's beautifully differentiating between the two. Did we see this in the first one? No. First one was just to verify the structure of the, or just verify the context of what these three articles can give. Now this is the actual presentation what you're able to see, right? Again, we are seeing a comparative insights between the two, whether it's the A1C reduction, weight loss, right, between GLP-1 receptor agonists as a class versus tirzepatide, which is a dual agonist. So we are seeing it how beautifully it's segregated, right? And all this is a reference information, friends, from these three articles only what we have uploaded, right? Such a nice detailed presentation you're able to see, right? We are even seeing dosing and titration pulse, which it has adapted from these three papers. Now comes the most beautiful part, which is the visual aids. It's suggesting what kind of visual things which I've asked. I asked it for a graph, I asked for a chart, I even asked it for a forest plot. If you remember in the prompt, I specifically mentioned. And now you're going to see this magic unfold itself, right? So this is the exact visual aids. Now I've asked it to create these things, right? This was the exact thing, visual slide suggestions which it gave, and now I'm asking AI to further create me this amazing charts. So all you have to do is just copy paste these charts on slides, because these are derived from that three papers what I'm using to build my entire content of the presentation. So friends, this is the power. See how beautifully it's creating a mechanism of action chart as well, how it's differentiating the two, the tables, right? So this is the power of AI. We have not used one tool, but we have blended two or three different tools. We tried with Elicit first to build the structure. We used ChatGPT's power to integrate that structure. We used the right kind of prompt to build a complete structure, right, of this kind of presentation. So with this, friends, I come towards the end, but I'm going to cover one last tool, which is again it's to build one of the content. It's very important that certain ideas or certain concepts what you want to talk, if they are portrayed visually into a graph form, or rather a chart form, it has a unique impact. So I'm going to take a very interesting example here, a very short one. It's going to be steps to talk to AI, right? A simple thing, efficiently to AI, like AI se baat kaise karna, right? I'm just doing a random Google search, okay? So I'm getting a nice answer that, okay, be clear and specific in your prompts, and it's just showing a typical overview. This is how the new Google search works nowadays, right? So I'm just copying it and pasting. I'm just copying this entire thing. Now, this is boring to read, right? Now, if I want this information to be put on a presentation, I'm sure that content is not going to feel nice to the audience to see it, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just gonna paste it here, and I'm asking it to build up the nice content, which could be done on Napkin. This is a brilliant tool. It's a free tool. You can sign in with your Google ID here. So as I've created multiple tools here, multiple charts here. Now I'm pasting that entire flow of what Google gave me into Napkin AI. Okay. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to ask Napkin AI to build me a beautiful chart out of this detailed content, and you're going to see magic, right? Magic manifest over your screen in the next few seconds, right? So as I've this is a very detailed kind of structure. Now if you see here, what that thunder sign what you saw on your left was AI reading it and understanding it, right? Now if we go a little down, you're going to see actually a lot of variations of a possible animation you're going to see with this tool, right? This is the sign which I was talking about, the thunder sign, right? Now imagine the same tool is getting converted into such beautiful illustrations, right? Imagine manually making these kind of visual things is going to take up so much of energy, time, and efficiency, right? Now this is better to read or the whole theoretical content. Obviously this is going to have a better impact visually and aesthetically in your presentation. So friends, with this last tool, there are so many other tools, but it's very difficult to cover in such a short time. But all I want to summarize is, before AI assistance, there is very limited literature coverage. Basic visuals and data presentation is there. It's very time consuming to manually format, and there's inconsistency in the structure of presentation. But after AI implementation, all these things take a huge turnaround, right? We have a more audience engaging presentation. And again, it's very important to be mindful about the limitations and cautions, outdated information, missing nuisance. So how did we rule out the outdated information? If you saw in the Perplexity case, that tool, we were actually asking it to give DOI so we can verify it, right? Missing nuances, sometimes clinical considerations it may miss out. So human in the loop is critical. We have to validate the structure first and then create the content. Directly, if you create a content, there'll be a lot of mess ups, right? Lack of clinical judgment, certain rare conditions, it may miss out actually. So it's very important to go through it well, and look at responsibly. Audience specific content adaptation is very, very important, because unless you define the audience to which the content is being delivered to into a presentation, there'll be huge goof ups. You'll end up getting a kind of first year medical graduation kind of content if you don't define it well, no matter what subject you're putting in. Or it would go too high standard. It will go to a biostatistician level wala content, which may go bouncer to a lot of specialists like us, right? Unless we are qualified in biostats or such certain advanced research metrics, right? So it's very important to define the audience specificity. Again, there's no words to say. You can see beautifully how the success metrics appear. The research hours go low, content creation hours go low, visual design hours go low, literature coverage goes very, very, very broader with using AI, and the audience engagement definitely takes a new turn. So this is my last key takeaway slide for the presentation. Time efficiency is what AI gives. Verifiability of the crucial content, and that too in a very short time. You could validate so many different sources of information. It's important to consider starting with simple. It has its own learning curve to adapt these tools, but they're fairly simple. Visual content is very, very important when you're building the presentation. Clinical oversight is important. Documentation of sources, very, very important. And please acknowledge, if you've used AI, it's going to elevate your positioning as a speaker. People will respect you if you declare it beforehand that this is AI, right? With which the help has been taken. Focus distribution. Let AI handle the form, right? The form of the structure, let it handle, and you focus on core clinical substance and content of the presentation you're wanting to build up. So friends, with this, I come towards the end of my presentation. You can take a picture of this one, because it's a basic startup guide, like how do you start using these tools, assessing the need, selecting the right tool, learning the basis, and starting with small presentations initially. Thank you for your patient listening to this. And I'm going to end with a very positive quote. The illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Said by none other than Alvin Toffler. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Over to you, Dr. Purvi, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Harsh. I felt like I was just completely, like Alice in Wonderland, just going in the deep hole of AI and, just stumbling into it more and more and getting more and more intrigued. Thank you for that very, very, very charming presentation and very useful. I've actually recorded the big hint and the prompt that you gave us. So I'll be sharing that on the groups as well. Fantastic. Well done. Next, we
Thank
have
you.
Dr. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let me take this opportunity to welcome our founder, Dr. Banshi Sabu, sir. He's joined in. Dr. Banshi, sir, are you there? Hi, sir. Good evening. Sir, you'll have to unmute.
See,
And
Neil, who is there with me? Dr. Tarjani.
Hi, Dr. Tarjani. Did you
She is
find?
Neil cousin.
Okay, great.
Bansi is a student and Neil's cousin.
So first of all, thanks Purvi. It is wonderful program, DTech Dialogue, and I was listening hers first time. Hers, it was real good. But in between, I was constantly seeing the patient, so I could not. But I will understand more about this AI. This time we are going to have AI live. It's a dedicated 2-hour workshop. It's not like something which is a lecture, not as a monologue. We will miss Neil. We invited him also. So this DTech will be unique. It will be a technology meeting which starts with continuous glucose monitoring, insulin pump, and advanced, artificial intelligence. On that workshop will be there. Purvi is a great organizer for all online meetings, whatever online meetings, whichever meetings which I have started. Purvi is the one who just take it at a different height. So I'm thanking Purvi. Thanks Alok, who is there, and he's real mastermind behind all these AI programs which we are doing across the country. Yes, there are many more people are there. Rakesh is there who joined. He is the organizing secretary for this meeting. And this year, the meeting will be very unique because we are going to have more than 300 participants. I will not call them delegates because they joined and they registered for this meeting last year, exactly 1 year before. We are going to have another 200 delegates who will be from Rajasthan, Western India, and other parts of the country. And very unique meeting, which will be having a lot of discussions, lot of papers were presenting. And this time we are going to have oral paper, short oral, e-posters, and really when you go through all the papers, you will find that a lot of people are working actually in tech. It's not just restricted for continuous glucose monitoring and pump therapy. I am thanking you once again, thanking you all the delegates, all the participants who are joining today. And I'm also thanking all three eminent speakers, Harsh, Neil, and Alok. And big thank for my dear friend, my dear sister, my dear little sister, Dr. Puri. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your blessings.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
And
sir.
looking forward for 80, Diabetes Technology Meeting DTech at Jaipur. Thank you, Rakesh. Good.
Thank you, sir, for your ever kind words to always encourage us and motivate us to do even more. So, you are an inspiration to all of us, sir. At every level, I think we are just in awe of your energy and your ideas and your never say no attitude. So, thank you for teaching us so many things.
Thank you, Puru. Thank you.
Yes, and our other partner in crime is also here, Dr. Rakesh Parikh, and he's the organizing secretary for this year for DTech Con, and has left no stone unturned in, making it a very, meeting that we can all look forward to. So, Rakesh, if you are here, maybe you can, invite everyone by yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Purvi. I'm here definitely listening to the beautiful presentations. Harsh's presentation was very impressive. And yes, I would like to invite everybody who is watching to this dialogues. If most of them are already registered, in case you're not registered, please register for DTechCon. As Dr. Banji said, it's going to be a unique experience for all of you. So we'll not waste more time. Let us go ahead with the next presentation. Thank you, Purvi.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, like Dr. Rakesh just alluded to, the registrations might close in the next week or so. So please get out there and, get done with the registration. Don't hold yourself back. You will have a lot of FOMO if you do. With that, I invite our next speaker for the evening, Dr. Alok Modi, and he is going to, sort of create the presentations that we're all looking forward to.
Thank you, Purvi. That's very kind of you. At the outset, I'll just say one thing. No matter how much Shah Rukh Khan and Deepika Padukone you put, and no matter what you do, unless you have a Bansali or unless you have a real good director, the movie doesn't become a hit. So, Banshi sir, that was alluding to you. Thank you for being the Sutradhar of DTech. It's because of your we talk in our English language, in scientific language, we are dealing with these verticals. So we are having these verticals, Banshi sir, Purvi, Rakesh sir. These are the verticals on which the entire technology conference has been resting. And if you go in the history, in the last 2 to 3 years, it has made waves internationally. I think in the next 3, 4 years, Purvi, I think we would be having this DTech in Jupiter or Saturn with you all running the show over there. I mean, it's not difficult to imagine the way science is progressing. And I hope we meet in one of those planets in the coming 2 to 3 years. As Vanshi sir taking us on a good round in the solar system. So that is a kind of respect and admiration that I have for this wonderful team. And I'm very grateful to all of you for this wonderful opportunity. And Harsh, phenomenal presentation. More phenomenal every time I look at you and I listen to you. Now, since you have done a very good thing, you have laid the ingredients very nicely. It's time for me to lit the fire and make the pudding right live in front of everybody. So we'll jump back to your prompt. I'll take your prompt. Before I do that, I've opened up all the generic AIs in front of you. I need to start the screen share. So give me a minute here. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible now.
Yes.
You can see a napkin. Okay, so let me come to the Makkah of medicine, the Makkah of AI, that is Chat GPT. At the beginning, I tell you one thing, if you really want mileage out of your AI, you need to have a paid subscription. You need not buy all the generic AIs like Perplexity, Claude, and everything. I have bought only one, which is ChatGPT, which is really the master of everything. And before I go ahead, let me tell you one word of caution with ChatGPT. And I hope Purvi will pardon me for saying this. Manoj did say in the last meeting that's difficult to make out the mood of your wife. You come to know in the evening. Believe me, ChatGPT behaves like that. The fantastic prompts you give, it gives you very different answers. Gets frustrating. Sometimes you get fantastic PowerPoint. Sometimes you get PowerPoint which are beyond explanation. And ChatGPT does have a personality. Take my word for it. It behaves very erratically at times. So be very careful with your prompt. And like Hirsch very rightly said, very intelligent kid keeps running here and there. You really need to know to capture it. So now let me give the same prompt. I'll start with a very basic prompt here. Create a 15 slide presentation on GLP-1 honest in obesity, right? Let me just do that and see what happens. I'm not correcting the spelling mistakes. So the basic thing is it will create a very basic generic slide. As you can see, it will give you the structure of the slide. So go ahead, give it the entire. Now, if you don't have a paid version, this is what you'll get. You'll stop over here. You need to take this on PowerPoint, manually edit it, copy paste and create your presentation, which becomes a little time consuming and it beats the purpose of using AI, right? You see it's doing a good work on its own. It's giving you some tables and all. Sometimes it does not give. It gives you just 2 to 3 lines and nothing more than that. Now, I'll go and pick up the prompt that me and Hirsch have designed. It's a wonderful prompt. Let me use the right prompt. And since we are on prompts, let me tell you one thing. We are running 4 to 6 hours workshop on prompt. Prompt engineering is a specialty by itself. And when I did my Massachusetts course for No Tools AI, okay, we had an entire session on prompt engineering. The value of prompt engineering is such. I'll tell you what. I had to create a business model for Uber and Ola to make them decide which cars run maximum at what time, which drivers have the highest rating, which routes and avenues have the maximum traffic. And so I had to create an AI model which can give a future prediction for their business as to how they should run their cars and their drivers and their routes in such a way so that the company makes maximum money. So the AI model is there, or like ChatGPT is there. But if I don't know how to create a good prompt based on the data that Uber has given me for the last 6 months, I will not give a good business model. Based on that, we could clear our MIT exam or we would flunk our MIT exam. The pass percentage was 80%. So that depends on your prompt. And for your knowledge, a company which is employing a trained prompt engineer is paying, you know how much? They are paying 7 lakhs to 15 lakhs per month. So think again, if you learn prompt engineering, you can choose to change your profession and be better off. That is the value of a prompt. So if you really want to get mileage out of your AI for PowerPoint presentations or for writing journal articles that I do very regularly, you need to have a good prompt. Now, this is the prompt which was very generic and basic, and you got this pattern. Now, since it's a paid version, it is asking you, do you want it as a Google slide, a PDF or a PowerPoint? I say, yes, it will create the PowerPoint for me. That's the problem. It keeps doing that. I told you, very difficult to predict with ChatGPT. So it's decided it won't cooperate anyway. So let me ask it once again. Give me the presentation. So let's hope it does the job this time and gives me the presentation. So it's analyzing, it started working. You need to give tea to your wife once in a while. Make the tea yourself. You get a lot of cooperation, which I do. So this is what, and by the way, I'm in a little humorous mood. I don't talk to ChatGPT. I do say, dear ChatGPT, lovely work, ChatGPT. You might find me a little funny when I say that, but trust me, I get better results when I talk to ChatGPT like that. ChatGPT has a personality, though it is not sentient. The reason is when ChatGPT 4.0 model was launched, the Omni model was launched by Tom DeCarty, which is a CTO of OpenAI, which is a company behind ChatGPT. You know what was the opening statement that this model said when Bocati launched the model in public view for the first time? It said, "Why are you breathing like a vacuum cleaner, Bocati? I'm here. Don't you think I can take care of you?" Can you imagine? That's a historical statement which has gone down in the annals of history. So it does have a personality. And if you're not rude and if you're polite to ChatGPT, I'm telling you, it gives you very good answers. I hope Harsh will agree. Neil will agree. So here is a presentation in PowerPoint format. And we are downloading it, and voila, your presentation is right in front of you and ready. but it is going to be a generic presentation. So as you can see over here, it's given you a lovely presentation, which is very generic. For that, it's not very attractive, and it's up to Dr. Neil to make it attractive. But no, suppose I give the prompt, which is a properly created prompt, you see the kind of presentation I will get, which will be very different. Now, this is a very engineered and a very beautifully designed prompt, and you see the outcome that will come out of it will be very different. Now, before we go into that, let's pick up this presentation and let's start working on it. Now, there is something which very few people know. There is an AI tool which is inbuilt into Microsoft PowerPoint. Now, here I'd like to tell you a little bit about Microsoft Office, which again, very few people know. Most people buy a licensed version. Actually, I'll correct myself. Most people don't buy. They use a pirated version, which is illegal, not required, and it is not expensive. So then what people do is they buy a standalone copy of Office, which comes for some 20,000 rupees, which is a sheer waste of money because you get a lot of limitations. Instead, if you buy the subscription of Office, which works out to some 420 or 500 rupees, there are different flavors for family, for companies, and all that per month. You are allowed to install Office legally on 5 instruments, whether it's a Mac or a Windows or whatever. And at the same time, you can edit your Office on unlimited tablets and mobiles legally free of cost. This is the benefit that you get when you buy a subscription. Obviously, the version of your Office subscription keeps getting updated automatically as long as the subscription is valid. So it works out to some 420 rupees or odd rupees per month per instrument, per 5 instruments. Don't you think that's really cheap to have a licensed version? Please remember that NASCOM can come and check your instruments anytime in your clinic and all. A very reputed hospital in Bombay had to shell out its entire computers and had to pay a penalty lakhs of rupees for running pirated software. So make sure you buy the legalized versions, and they're very cheap and very free. There are a lot of goodies coming on Amazon and Flipkart every year. So that subscription which you're getting for some 420 rupees can be bought for as much as 250 rupees per month, which is what I did. I bought 10 years subscription at one go, and my Office is legally subscribed for 10 years for 5 instruments. Not only that, when you do that, you can get the beta version, which has got a lot of flavors. You get the AI input in your PowerPoint, which is not there otherwise. And you get a complimentary 1 terabyte of cloud space free, which you get. You also get the facility to block certain segments of your OneDrive away from the eyes of others, which gives you legal privacy in your OneDrive. And at the same time, you can share a 1 terabyte subscription with your friends and family, and you can share a percentage of that, which again, Microsoft gives you, which no other company gives you. And this is very important, which I'm sure Manoj, Rakesh sir, Purvi, Banshi sir, and all will like this. For people who are traveling extensively with a lot of presentations, you don't have to carry your presentations and your laptop and your pen drive with you. In case you want to create a presentation in the house or in the clinic, just leave it over there, save it on your OneDrive. So when you're looking at your presentation, you can save it directly into your OneDrive. As you can see over here, it gives you that option straight away. You can save it over here. This is your OneDrive, as you can see. Having done that, what happens is whenever you're going, let's say I'm saving a presentation over here and I'm going to DTech in Jaipur. I'm not carrying my laptop. I'm not carrying my pen drive. I just log into any Internet Explorer browser or Chrome or Edge or any browser of my choice, log into my account, double click on my presentation, and even if Office is not installed in the host computer, organizer's computer, my presentation will run just like this in full glory with the latest features of Microsoft. And when I close the presentation, none of my data will be left behind in the organizer's computer. So this is a very good technique that you can get for as much as 250 rupees per month. So just thought I'll share that with you. Now, this is an inbuilt AI format in your Office. So this is called as a designer tool. When you click on this tool, you start getting some magic because of AI, which is inbuilt into PowerPoint. So look at this slide and see the designer tool working. So you see the magic in action? See. Let's pick up another slide and see how it designs your slides. You see that? See, suddenly the slides become very vocal, they become speechy, and they create an impact on the audience. So it's very difficult to arrange all these boxes on your own and type in each boxes and create things which is done by AI automatically. So you can choose what you want. Now here is where the prompt works. Now suppose I remove all this. I just keep it on my clipboard. Okay. And I come back to designer tool. You see the kind of design I'll get will be very different. So what I mean to say is that the the background and the imaging of your slide depends on what prompt is present over here. So you can play around with so many permutations and combinations. You can change your entire presentation without learning anything of AI or prompting, and you can make a big difference to your presentation. And what I saved earlier can be pasted back. I just have to change the font color of this, and my presentation becomes very good as before. So I've not lost my presentation, but I've got a better background. So you can play around with this. You don't have to know a single AI tool. You don't have to know a single prompt. You don't have to have any contact with ChatGPT. And within PowerPoint, you can change your entire presentation in such a wonderful manner. And you can make a presentation of international caliber just by working on PowerPoint itself. So you see, there's a lot of benefit here. So you get your basic presentation from ChatGPT or from Grok, which are the two AIs which I respect a lot because they give you a lot of overall mileage, and you can do that. Now, how do you get this designer tool? This is not present in most of the Microsoft PowerPoints that you get by default installation. I'll show you how to get that. If you go into File and go into Options over here, and you choose the ribbon, this is called as a ribbon, the tool ribbon. So just choose into Customize ribbon. When you do that, you get some commands which are present and some commands which are not there. So search for those commands, which is a designer command. You can search it over here and push it into the toolbar on the left side, and prompter designer will come here. So whatever commands you want is going to come there, and it makes a lot of difference. Now let's come back to ChatGPT. As you can see, a lot of data has been handled over here by ChatGPT. We gave it a very wonderful prompt and it's created the whole thing. Now the kind of presentation it has created, which is downloadable only and only if you have a subscribed version. Otherwise, you will not be getting a downloaded presentation from ChatGPT unless you subscribe to it. Now, this kind of presentation will be a little different. As Harsh has already showed you, you will start getting tables, you will start getting images. Now, the presentation that Harsh showed you in the same prompt had tables and images. This does not have. This is a typical example of how ChatGPT behaves differently at different times with the same prompt. Now, again, it is up to you to take this, but there is more data here compared to the previous presentation, and you can modify it through the inbuilt AI. Now, I will stop over here. I'll show you something better over here. What I prefer to do is you take this presentation and the kind of thing that computer geeks or nerds do is I tell ChatGPT, give me the VBA code of this presentation. Okay. Now, VBA stands for Visual Basic for Application. That is the language on which all Office applications work. Excel, PowerPoint, etc. Okay. So if you like this, it can make a hell lot of a difference to your presentation. You don't have to work on it. It writes the entire code for you and gives it to you. Now, again, it's acting a little tough with me. So fine. So I have already recorded the video because I knew these things can happen over here. So let me just play the video and show you. So I'm asking it for it to generate. Now, this is the kind of presentation that I got earlier through ChatGPT, which is a properly prompt presentation. As you can see, the tables have started coming, which Hurt showed you, because we're using the same prompt over here. And you're getting this entire presentation here, right? As you can see, the presentation is here. Now, I wanted a VBA code. So let me come to that. Now, if you can see the language here, I did say, sweetheart, do some good work for me. And believe me, it does much better work when I say, and it says, here you go, sweetheart, here's your presentation. I do get a lot of mileage when I use good words. Now, see, this is the kind of presentation I got with the same prompt that Harsh had created. As you can see, certain graphs and other things are there. But I want a VBA code. I want to show you the real way to do things is create a VBA code. Now, when you ask for a VBA code, this is the kind of a VBA code that it generates. Now, having done that, you copy the VBA code, and then what you do is you just copy that VBA code into your PowerPoint developer tool, which is inbuilt into PowerPoint, and it will create the presentation for you. So let me just show you that it is creating the macro on the VBA code. Let this video run on its own. This is the entire VBA code that it has created. You don't have to learn coding at all. Everything has been done by it. It even shows you where and how to insert the VBA code. I'll just show you that and I'll show you how it works. Having done that, once you create the VBA code and you go ahead and insert it in PowerPoint, I'll just show you that also. Just give me a minute. So I went over here. You open up a blank PowerPoint, go to this developer tool and open up the Visual Basic column and developer tool. Once you do that, you insert a module. Now, this might look a little nerdy or computer language to you. It's not so difficult. I just copied, pasted the code and see my presentation. The moment I did it, it created a macro, which is a series of codes in trained to run together. The moment I run the macro, within 2 minutes, my presentation has been created. And here is the presentation which I copied pasted from ChatGPT. It has been created totally on its own. The advantage of doing a VBA code is when you're running a VBA code, what happens is in this code, if you get a little knowledge, you can ask ChatGPT to explain the code to you. You can change certain letters in the VBA code. You can change your name. You can change the types of the table and all. And it changes the entire presentation completely and totally by just modifying one or two lines. So this is how you get mileage through ChatGPT, Grok, and PowerPoint itself. I do something even more than this, which is very beautiful and very helpful. Now, suppose I need to create a graph for my presentation. So let me ask over here, dear ChatGPT, create the comparison of GLP-1 agonist in diabetes versus obesity in a table format. Okay. Let it create the table with data. Now the prompt has already been given, so it knows that it has to search only those things which it has been told by Dr. Hirsch. So it's not going to go outside that data and do some wild search and give you hallucinatory answers. So it will stick to those journals and fill those tables with data. So we pull up from those articles certain important data, and here the table is going to get created. And I want to show you how you can generate a real life graph from a journal to be inserted into your PowerPoint. Okay, so this is the table. Now create a VBA code in Excel on this table and give me the data for Excel, right? So I'm doing that. I've got the data here. I'm creating the data the table in Excel, and I'm also getting the VBA code in Excel. So let it run the VBA code for me. And I'll tell you one thing out of experience. If you're using VBA code in PowerPoint, it gives you a lot of hallucinations. Somehow, I've not seen ChatGPT doing a better work in this. It does a much better work when you do it in Excel for graphics. So yes, generate the VBA code. So it also tells you, if you don't know how to use it, it will also tell you how to use the VBA code. So here is a code getting generated on its own. You don't have to learn anything. Remember, codes are read from right to left. Like you read Urdu language, it is not to be read from left to right. That's how VBA codes are supposed to be read. But it generates, it works on Python, and Python, it takes the help of Python to generate a VBA code. So here is your code. Now, I also want a macro. So it's going to create a macro for me. So let's create a macro also with it. So I'll give you the examples also. I just want to hurry up. I need to show you a lot of things in the next 10 minutes. So let's create the macro code and the VBA code completely. Just bear with me for a minute while I finish generating the code. The problem is sometimes ChatGPT, being a generalized LLM, can make mistakes. Yes, so I want both. And if you insert some 7 or 10 slides like this, your slides stand out very beautifully without using any third-party application or other softwares of AI, which will add a lot of visual impact, which Dr. Neil is going to show you in a very brilliant manner within the next few minutes. So just let me show you this, and I'll show you 3 properly dedicated AI tools for creating PowerPoint. And you'll get your answers. Just give me a minute. Since I want to do it live for you, I just want you to see how it works so that you can see live in action. So you all can also do it with yourself. Now, while it is doing that, let me come to some other dedicated PowerPoints AI tools which work very well. Now, this is Tome. I just want to show you this is Tome. Believe me, all these tools work very well when you have paid the license money and you have bought them. I don't buy more than one or two tools because it's not worth buying, but the free versions give you a lot of benefit. Now, I'm not going to go into the prompts for each tool because that will take a long time. It will be probably a 2-hour workshop. But if you see, I've created a lot of slides through various these tools for all my national and various international conferences. As you can see, there are some very lovely graphics being created by these tools provided you give the right prompt. As you can see, this is the 3-slide presentation, which I use as an opening presentation. This is a tool called as Tome, Tome. As you can see, it creates sort of wonderful slides. The moment you click this button, generate with AI, it is giving you its own examples. What are the right prompts? So if you write the same prompt over here, I'm not going to show you live over here. If you write the same prompt, you will get some 15 to 20 slides on GLP-1 and GLP-2 with fantastic graphics, which are downloadable into PowerPoint or a PDF, and you can collect it from there. This is another tool called as Dectopus. Now, this is another tool where you can use this Create with AI, or you can push in your already pre-existing PowerPoint, or you can write a code prompt right from scratch, and you will get a lot of PowerPoints which are absolutely editable and beautiful. As you can see, I have created a lot of PowerPoints for my own presentation through this, and there's a big list which I use. So I've created enough PowerPoints through various topics related to my field of diabetes. This is another tool which I want to show you called as Beautiful AI. This is again a very fantastic tool, very rich in graphics, doing fantastic work. As you can see, the same pattern, the tools are a little different. You can create a presentation with AI or from an underlying PowerPoint that you have already got, or from a template that you want to start with, or you can import a PowerPoint which you got from your friend or some source like EDS release couple of PowerPoints which you want to talk upon in your conference. You can import that PowerPoint and develop it to talk about your story. Let me show you this AI in healthcare navigating ethical concerns, which I had created. And as you can see, the graphs and the PowerPoint generations are very smooth and very organic, and it does such a fantastic job. So as you can see, such fantastic timeline and tools have come automatically. Everything is done automatically by the AI tool. Based on this kind of PowerPoint, you can develop it the way you want. Now, this is one of the biggest tools called as Gamma. It is one of the best tools in the market, which I use very heavily. And it is something which gives you tremendous amount of leeway and happiness. And it's a very famous tool. As you can see, I've created tons. I've probably created more than 500 PowerPoints for a lot of my friends and for myself. And I use it very regularly for a lot of conferences and other places that I go to for. And these PowerPoints are so good, they can be used very heavily even in international conferences. They're generated very nicely. So let me create one live and show you how it works. It's absolutely sheer magic in action. So let me just put the prompt here. Let's put the prompt that Harsh has created. So I click this prompt again and I put it in Gamma. Now I want a presentation or a web page or a document or a social event. It can do that also. Let me have a presentation. Now I can generate, because I've got a license copy, I can generate a 60 or a 70 slide presentation, which is huge. It practically takes care of 90% of my requirements, but it will take some time. So I won't do that today. I will just create probably a five slide or a 3-slide presentation just to show you. You get a lot of leeway in Gamma. You can have preserved material from whatever article. I'll come to that. Or you can have a condensed matter, or you can have a detailed matter. You can ask it to generate its own matter. You can have the kind of images that you want. There's a huge sources of images. You can write the prompt per image over here. You can create slides in so many languages that you want, including Hindi, Gujarati, and Marathi, if you want to create patient tools. And you can choose the kind of a model you want, whether it's an ideogram or a Dell E3, which is ChatGPT's image vector, or you can use a Recraft, you can use an ideogram, you can use Imagen 3, which is fantastic. I have got very good experience. I generally prefer Flux. So you can do that. Now, once you click on that, you can choose a theme. Now see, the amount of themes which is given to you is huge. And like Hersh showed you, he created his own theme in Gamma for his own presentation, which was such a corporate, transparent, and a very math kind of a presentation that Hersh showed you. That theme was created in Gamma, and based on that, he created a PowerPoint. So you can create a theme over here the way you want, and you can import that theme for your presentation. So let me generate this presentation to you and show you how magic works in live in action over here. So it's going to generate that. Now let's come back to ChatGPT. Now let's just see. I just want you to see how the presentation is getting created. It literally writes the PowerPoint right in front of you. So just give me 2-3 minutes. I'm going to create the presentation right now, live to you. The beauty of this tool is you can load your old presentations and glamorize them, sort of, get them remarried into the modern AI look. And you see how beautiful the presentations are coming. And you can see the kind of images it is generating. So beautiful images are being generated. Now, suppose I don't like this image. I feel it's not fitting this thing. So what I can do is I can come here, edit this image over here, and it gives me a lot of option. As you can see, this is a prompt that Gamma has created for this image. I change this form. I say GLP mechanism. Let's say, just for the sake of understanding, I change the prompt. Okay. See what happens. And then I can enhance it. Gamma can tell me that I can write a better prompt for you. You can do that also. You can pick up media, which is AI generated. You can pick up GIFs from Giphy, which is a well-known site for GIFs. You can create accent images. You can also pick up images from the web, which are live images. So whatever way you want, depends upon you how you want to do it. And then you can generate the whole thing. So once you do that, you just generate that image only for this slide, and you will see a couple of images being generated by Gamma for your happiness, and you can change the image. So see, this is the image that it generated. So you decide how you want it, depending on your thinking process and what you want to present. You can put that image and you can edit that image that you want. You have other options. For every slide, you can add a video from your own computer. You can add a web page link, like if you're showing some article with a Vancouver reference, you can do that. You can add your own chart and diagrams, which you've created from Excel and other places. You can add buttons, which can give you impact. So when you click on that button, the slide would do some mechanistic action over there. So all that facilities can be done while you're creating with Gamma. And having created this presentation totally, now there is no image here. You want this to come with a proper image. So what you can do is just go here and either add one image or add multiple images based upon the subsections of the slide. So I want multiple images. Just wait for 2 minutes. It will create those images and show you. So when I created the slide on gestational diabetes, it showed a lot of lovely pregnant women with kids in their hand and the sugars going up with a red flare and the baby crying and the mother looking very hurt. So that is the kind of impact that AI can do, which you can't do. If you were to make such presentations on your own, searching those images from the net and converting them and modifying them, imagine the kind of time you would take. Sometimes these presentations look so beautiful and they deliver the subject matter so beautifully, 1,000 words. One image speaks more than 1,000 words. That is the kind of benefit you can get. Having created a whole presentation, you can either share it live with your work group, or you can export it into a PDF file or a PowerPoint, and it will automatically move into your Gmail or your email address with whom you have registered your account with, or you can embed this. You can take this and put it in your own web page. So you can create patient education videos and documents and web pages and PowerPoints, which you can use to teach your patients. And that is a kind of work that Gamma does. So now let's come back to ChatGPT. Now see, it has done this. It has created the okay. Now this is a VBA code. So we just copy this code. We open up Excel over here. The same procedure is followed over here. I go into the developer tool, open a Visual Basic here, insert a module here. Okay. And just paste the code here and I run the code. Now it has not created the macro. That's the problem with ChatGPT. Sometimes it troubles you. You didn't create the macro. Somehow today it's not cooperating with me. Let me show you my video here. I think I've done some work here. So here, if you can see, I've created the macros here, and having created the macro, see, this is the macro that you can see on the left side. This is the code in the macro. I've already recorded this. And once you put it in your Excel sheet, this is the kind of graphs. See, this is what I'm doing. This is the kind of graphs you will get. You see this? This is where I pasted, and this is the outcome of the whole thing. When you click this run button, voila, everything is ready within 2 minutes. Your entire presentation, this is the macro that you will get. Run the macro, and you will get your entire PowerPoint with all its graphics ready for you to showcase, and you can take it from there. So as you can see over here, the whole thing is ready. Now you can add to it. This is the kind of graph and table that you got because of your macro. Okay, one more thing. Now something which is very relevant, which I find very useful. I'll just show you this in Gamma as well as ChatGPT. Now let's show you one thing. Now suppose you're reading an article. Now we were discussing a lot on the Solus article, which Novo Nordisk has just released now, semaglutide with a huge patient database. Now this whole article is so interesting, and you've been asked to give a presentation on this article or relevant to semaglutide based on the latest research, and you want to incorporate certain tables and data from that article, becomes very difficult to copy paste and create a PowerPoint. So I'll give this example. This is an article which I wrote 1 year back on primary care in India, right? It has got published. Now this whole article I want to convert into a PowerPoint, correct? So I'm the primary author here. So what I do is I go to Gamma here, I go back to the home page, and either I just import a PDF, which is your PDF from here. I'll just show you once again. You just import the PDF file from here. Come to your system. You can import a PowerPoint or a Word document or a PDF. So I directly import this PDF file into Gamma. I can do that in ChatGPT like Hertz showed you. And having done that, give it not 3 slides or 4 slides, give it some 40 or 50 slides. It reads each paragraph, each table, and each image, and literally converts your entire paper into a fantastic PowerPoint. Absolute time saver. As you can see, the whole article has been read. It has been analyzed. The tables and the graphs are here. I'm going to keep it to 3 slides because I don't have much time. You get the idea. You can convert it to 50 slides and get the entire paper. The important point is preserve. Don't ask it to write. These are generalized LLMs. They will write anything out of their brain if you don't guard them well. So preserve so that they are restricted to entirely your article and your stuff only. And create, and it will actually create a proper article which is totally based on the subject matter that you're feeding it and nothing else. So you can convert any research work, any research paper, anything into an article. Now I want to show you 2 more things before I leave. Napkin is something that Harsh has already shown you. I want to show you something else. This is Notebook LLM. Here is a place where you can create audio articles or audio podcasts, which I do very regularly for any article. Put up any article. You can convert it into audio podcast. You can cut that audio postcard with some AI tools like Sono AI and Sangeet AI and many other tools are there, which I won't cover here. With that, you can take that audio clipping and put it in your PowerPoint, and you can sort of read out the relevant particles, the relevant parts of your article to your audience, giving your PowerPoint, and makes it very relevant and makes it very beautiful. Another thing that I wanted to show you over here is one of the wonderful sites which works very well when ChatGPT doesn't work is Grok. So if you have a licensed version of Grok, you can do entirely the same thing which you're doing with ChatGPT. With Grok, you don't have to pay money for the license. You get the Grok license automatically when you are subscribing to Twitter. So if you have a subscription to Twitter, you need not waste money on Grok. So now let me just show you how the article in Gamma was looking. Now this is the kind of an article it is actually creating with primary care. As you can see, the pictures are its own. It is very relevant picture. It has started creating the article from whatever it has read from me, and it's doing such a wonderful job. And you're getting such a fantastic article. This is another article which I wanted to show you if I had the time. And having done all this, what I do, the way I work is I create these articles in multiple these engines that I have, 7 or 8. I download 10 PowerPoints. Then I take them on my table, on my desktop, on my laptop. I remove certain articles, certain slides which I think are not relevant, and I join all of them. And that is how I create my story. And the final PowerPoint looks absolutely smashing. But very important that I would like to tell you, when we were being trained by in how to create a PowerPoint by certain top agencies when I'd gone for a conference internationally, is they taught me 2 or 3 things which I would like to share with you, which is KISS. KISS is keep it short, stupid, which means do not speak beyond the time given to you. If you're given 15 minutes, try not to go beyond 13 minutes. So your slide should be that much only, so that the message is very clear, loud, and the messages should be very concentrated. And the entire presentation should be like a story. It should not be loaded with a lot of statistics and facts and figures. It becomes boring. You don't get audience attention. So what you need to do is make it so sweet with a lot of graphics and certain humor and other things, so that it becomes very affordable and very pleasant for people to listen. And what I do nowadays is, which attracts my audience attention, is I put some gamization. So there are certain tools like Poll EV or Slido. If you look at my presentation PowerPoint, as you'll see over here, if you look at my PowerPoint over here, there is this tool called as Slido. So it comes when you start Slido, it can take poll from the audience. The audience actually starts participating from their own mobile phone. So you can attract the attention of your audience every third or fourth slide and ask them certain humorous or certain relevant questions. Probably give them a chocolate. The organizers can give them once the presentation is over. The entire audience gets spellbound with your presentation. It becomes a mesmerizing show. When you do all that, your presentation becomes a quality state of the art presentation. And basically, how much time do you take to do this? If you're going to spend 1 week creating all this, it's a waste of time. With AI in the picture, if you really know how to use your tools well, you can create a very tough PowerPoint presentation in less than 1 hour or half an hour, right from scratch. Maximum 2 hours, you can have your fantastic presentation ready, which I think is fantastic and unmatched. And the graphics that you get through AI are absolutely unmatched. Now I'll stop over here. I just showed you how to make the pudding. Now we have created a cake, but I need to put the topping on the top. And I think the best person to do that is Dr. Neil. So he will tell you how to use Gamma and other tools and make your presentations lively, literally thrown out from the laptop and highly visually attractive. So thank you once again, Banshi sir, Rakesh sir, and Dr. Purvi and Harsh for laying the foundation and for this opportunity. I'll stop over here. And Neil, the button is in your table now on the virtual platform. And I hope our audience gets enthusiastic and starts doing things through AI. And I'll just say by one thing, Jai Baba ki Jai, not Google Baba ki Jai. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that was really an exhaustive lesson and very detailed, of course. And I think your passion comes through very easily because you are into it so much and motivating all of us to do the same. So with that, I hand over to Dr. Neil. He is our speaker for the first time. A warm welcome to you, Dr. Neil.
Thank you.
And go ahead with beautifying our our presentations and all the tips that you have to share with us.
Certainly. I'll just start the screen sharing.
Sure.
Perfect. Can you see the slides?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So we are going to talk on creating and captivating the audience with the presentations. So it's very important that we stay visually connected with the slides. And today I'm going to share some of the tools, some of the techniques, and the rest of the things that we have been talking for the past 1 to 2 hours. And it has included all of the data collection, the creating the presentations, even exporting the presentations. But now let's go and beautify them. So
I just have one, Dr. Neil, sorry to interrupt. I just have one prompt. Can everybody just post their, questions and comments in the DTech WhatsApp group? We would like to discuss them as time permits. So please do send us your questions on the WhatsApp group. We would love to hear from you.
So I would like to speak on the 3 domains. The first one being designing and layout. So that's one of the most important part of the presentations, and this is where we can use AI in order to generate the different kinds of layouts. And like sir said, you have different tools, including Gamma. We have some visual tools, and I'll be discussing this tool's usage, and finally the animation and the other things that make the slide a completely immersive experience. So beautiful AI, like sir showed, we can just prompt the presentation. We can upload some YouTube link. We can have the presentations created from YouTube links, PDFs, and everything else. But one of the major concerns that I have seen in most of the presentations that we have been creating is that it might take some stock images. It might take some AI generated images when we are creating these presentations. And somehow it feels very restricted. It does not allow us to have that creative expression. It does not allow us to have that visual expression. And whenever I have tried to create some medically accurate images, I have found that most of the AI tools have been somewhere lacking. If there has been an image generation about heart, if I want an image of the heart and if I prompt it, it might generate some different structures which are not necessarily present or accurate. So that is one of the drawbacks of creating directly from the AI generative apps. So I would suggest that we start from scratch, or we can have a base ready through ChatGPT or the other tools that we have been discussing. and then we can improve upon it visually. So let's go. So we might have seen tables like this in so many of the presentations where there is so much data. So when some audience members are seeing these charts, they might not be able to concentrate on the presentations. They might be seeing so many of the side effects. And then I would suggest that we insert bar chart. If we put this table into ChatGPT, I just inserted a prompt and it gives us a good bar chart, but I would still not put this into the presentation. I would still want something that keeps the audience immersed, that keeps the audience visually engaged. So then I would ask it to make something 3D, something aesthetic, and it does look like it's very clustered, and still there's some kind of uh, jumbling, there's some letters that get mixed up because there is a lot of data in that table. So let's segregate it. Let's make a pie chart out of it. So then I give a prompt, make it a pie chart, something in 3D and high quality, and we have something that's really nice and good coming up. And finally, I give a prompt that make a slide that's ready, something that's aesthetic pie chart and with some hospital, some medical kind of background. And finally, we can actually have ChatGPT create a beautiful slide, and we can put this in our presentation, something that has a 3D pie chart. And this would obviously be much more engaging than something like this on the presentations. In the same way, we might be seeing so many of this kind of figures in the textbooks, like the black and white textbooks that we have been studying for ages. And when we want to create something out of this, it just ends up creating something that's horrendous on the front when we go through the different creations that AI creates for the medically illustration. So I just put this illustration into ChatGPT 4.0. And this is a beautiful time we are doing this workshop, because with the image generations of 4.0, I have never been so impressed with any of the image creators. So I just want to share a few of the creations that I have. And when I put this prompt and make it 3D, make it visually attractive, so we get this kind of figure right from that black and white figure that we posted from textbook. So you can even feed your own styles. You can give ChatGPT the styles from the textbooks that you like, from all of the images that you like, and it will copy that style beautifully. Like from this to this is an amazing transformation, right? We might have, apart from medical education, we also need to educate the patients. We have seen this kind of charts of glycemic index. We might have seen like we keep on speaking on the things to eat and what not to eat, and it's just a lot of information for all of the audience members to grasp. So I've taken the help of Google VO2. While it's not officially launched by Google in India, FreePix AI Suite has included this tool, and it is one of the most realistic tools for the video generations. So I've just given the prompt. I've just copy pasted the information from our glycemic index chart, and I've put the parts of it and added the prompt with like high glycemic index, some card lying on the table, and something that can be enhanced with some lighting. Like instead of this red color, let's have some red lighting and this food charts. So this is the video it created within like 20 seconds. So you can see donuts, you can see the fries, you can see the bread and jam, the watermelon, and the red lighting does indicate that it is of the high glycemic index. You can even see a card which mentions the high glycemic index. And if I continue the generation for 10 seconds, which also is allowed on the tool, we might get a beautiful video which we can include in our presentation. Similarly, I created another video on the same tool using the Google VO, the mode and size and everything, which can be adjusted. And I added the hummus, the chickpeas, garlic, onion, green pepper, and all of the things with the low glycemic index. And it created another beautiful video, which is so realistic and so beautifully incorporatable in your presentations. So these are the kind of video animations which can also make the slides worthwhile. Going to the bar charts, these are the kind of bar charts we usually see in the presentations. And while it is equally medically correct, accurate, and everything, but let's try and see what we can do visually to make it better. So I just asked ChatGPT with a prompt to make it something 3D, something cinematic, and with the backdrop of some healthcare. So we can see some beautiful elements that it has added behind. And the chart has also been converted into a beautiful 3D design with all the accuracy of text. Text accuracy in the image generations has been one thing that I have never been able to achieve. And with ChatGPT 4.0, it is so beautifully copying the bar chart and the numbers and actually the colors as well. And finally, I'm going to the video generations. Let's see how to animate it. Let's take it to the next level. So I just insert this image over here, which I've created through ChatGPT 4.0. And I just ask the Pika Art, which is an AI video generation tool, like if a camera orbits around this bar chart and to maintain the exact consistency of this bar chart. So I feel consistency is a very important word in the prompts, because there might be places that you don't include the negative prompts, and when you don't include the negative prompts, there might be some video generations, some picture generations of the things that you don't want to see. So it generates this beautiful bar chart, and if you include this in slide, it would be looking amazing. So I would say that it's very important we incorporate more than 2 or 3 tools, and then combine them and create some kind of creations which are visually pleasing to the audience. In the same manner, these are all the images that I have generated 3 months back, and I cannot find a single logical thing in all of these images which I have created using AI. You can see that the labelings are absurd. You can see that over here there are some different kind of things which are absolutely not medically accurate. If I ask for atrial septal defect, it might create a hole in the heart in this manner. And so all of the things that are not medically accurate, some hemoglobin S or something, it's just that after chat gpt, one of the work way or the path of work that we can do is we can ourselves create the figures, or we can use the textbook figures and ask chat gpt to alter these figures. This is a beautiful way of creating the medically accurate illustrations. Like for example, I have this normal glomerulus and the unhealthy glomerulus figure from the textbook where the protein granules are formed, and we usually see the pictures like this in the slides. In order to make it aesthetically pleasing, I just asked ChatGPT with a prompt to convert it into a 3D render. I asked it to make it a high quality dark blur background and some kind of animations that you see on YouTube from the animation channels. Let's try and create them ourselves today. So it creates a beautiful 3D render from that figure itself. And now adding that protein granules in the center coil. So one of the things I would suggest if you are trying to do this is try and make this kind of images, and renders with very layman terms, just how you explain the things to the patients. When you add this type of words like center coil instead of glomerulus, when you add the yellow fluid instead of urine and translucent fluid that's passing through, because at times there might be possibilities that there are restrictions in the image generations. You might not get a urine generation, but eventually you would get the generations like this where the protein granules are being formed. And now we take these images. I have taken the 2 frames. I have again gone to the pika.art, which is an AI video generation website. And instead of just putting one image like we did in the bar chart, I am putting 2 frames. So keyframes is an amazing animation concept which has been going on for quite long. So when we put first frame and last frame and just putting a prompt like yellow fluid passing through the left side of the tubes and the granules forming in the center coil, it would give us a beautiful animation like this, which we usually see in the YouTube videos. So we can create this kind of GIFs, we can create this kind of videos and put it in our animations instead of just using the slides absolutely from the textbook pictures. And this would make the presentation very lively. It would be easier for the audience to understand the concepts that we are trying to explain to them. Similarly, I had just given a style. I just copied there are various presentations and templates that we can copy, and people are just putting some kinds of different texts in their layouts. So I just took a picture of the layouts here. I put a prompt that based on the template, just make a presentation on the following data and make it point wise. So beautifully, there are slide creations with 0 errors in the text. Everything is absolutely accurate. And you can see that the slide is absolutely generated by ChatGPT, and the consistency, again, if you are mentioning the consistency in the prompt, it can actually make the same design in the various slides, and you can just export all of those images and make a slideshow out of them. So that's as easy as you make it to be. In the same way, you can just alter the prompts, you can make the designs different. If you are finding it not readable, you can change the background colors and everything, and the slide still stays very consistent. So in this manner, you can make slides themselves in ChatGPT as well if you don't want to make some different slides in PowerPoint after exporting the slides from ChatGPT. In the same manner, I have drawn this slide by hand, and this is just a layout. This is just a placeholder slide. You can see a title here, you can see some points, and there is a mind map. And I just asked ChatGPT 4.0 image generation to go and make a bar graph and go and make these things in 3D. And this is the beautiful slide that it has generated. So you can hand draw the slides, you can hand draw the figures and ask the 4.0 image generation to make the slides immersive for the audience. In the same manner, you might have seen this kind of animations in various documentaries, like there is some highlight that goes on. So I just generated this 2 frames, and this is using the tool ideogram, which is again really good with the text. So when you have these 2 frames, first and last, you can just move from first to last frame and create a video like this, again using the Pika art. So you can see that there is highlighting, there's some kind of animations that we use in the documentary creations and other things, which can be really useful in the PowerPoint presentations. In the same manner, instead of the left side image where you have put an entire paper, it's really aesthetically pleasing if we just put this paper into ChatGPT 4 or image creation and you ask them to make a mock-up, to make a render, and it would generate a picture like the right side. And the text is amazingly consistent. It is just as you read on the left side, but just more aesthetically pleasing. And now this DTech logo, I just want it to be something futuristic. I have put the logo to ChatGPT 4.0 and I've asked it to make it as aesthetically pleasing and futuristic as possible. And it has generated this beautiful 3D render again. So these are the different tools we can use and make our presentations aesthetically pleasing and immersive for the audience. Thank you.
Neil, that was short, crisp, and mesmerizing.
Thank you.
Really well done. I think Dr. Rakesh, you'll agree this was one of the best sessions for DTech Dialogues. We really enjoyed it and learned a lot.
So Purvi, completely agree with you, and thanks for insisting me to be on the Zoom call. Otherwise, I usually watch from the back end, but then this gives me a opportunity to compliment, and it was really a very good session. And this time we'll have to make sure that we have the recording of this session for watching it again, because there are many people who missed the presentation. But this time, even after attending the presentation, I feel that I'll have to watch it at least 3-4 times more. There are so many new things that you can't learn at one go. So excellent job, Alok, as always. And I'm impressed with the new guys, Harsh and Neil. Both of them are very young, and a fabulous job. So I think look forward to have some more workshops on this. This was probably we didn't have enough of time because they had to rush through many things. Like Neil has shown so many good tools, but I still don't remember the names of the tools that he had used because he had to run very fast. So again, thank you very much, all of you. If there are any questions, Purvi, we can take those questions.
Sure.
I want to say one thing. If you permit, just one quick comment I wanted to make. Neil, I realized that you're using ChatGPT to the fullest advantage. I was using video AI and all to generate fantastic videos, which I used for one of my orations. It was well received by the audience. But I personally have not found Sora to be that good that the plain vanilla ChatGPT is using. Sora needs very highly trained prompts, and it is very costly also. But the kind of Sora videos that the creators in ChatGPT are doing is a class apart. Like Shashi Tharoor meets Shashi Tharoor. That was the landmark video done through Sora. But I have not found the kind of videos through Sora, but the kind of prompt you have generated. It's all a game of prompt. It's done fantastic video, and I really wanted to learn that. I mean, hats off to you. Using ChatGPT to do real good mileage, real creditable to you.
So I agree on the Sora part. I haven't been able to generate really good videos with Sora. And I am a AI partner with variety of video generation tools. So I do get the free credits to use and try and see how the video generations are. So I feel Runway is one of the best and VO2 of Google is really good. Again, I do feel that it is trained on the YouTube data, and which is why the animations and the realism is really good with the VO2. So these are the two tools. Thank you.
So I'm curious, Neil. I know because you're working with these AI companies, who sort of do they hire? Do they hire doctors to actually create these tools, or is it only engineers doing it?
So in order to create the tools, they usually hire the engineers, but they do want the feedback on creating the medical animations and the medical images. So they do want to see how you are able to use these tools to the fullest. And apart from that, because of this video generation and image generation tools, the companies have had zero success in creating the medically accurate images. So they have been hiring a lot of
That was the point that, do we have medically accurate images? I know even for my thesis, I used to every sort of that shape in just a simple PowerPoint was utilized to the, and whichever student could make it the best, we would actually hide and see how well they were doing it and then learn from them. Yes, so I think we've come a long way since then. Your
Please share
final
your
comments.
Twitter address. If there's a vacancy, I'll be the first person. I'll give you a chocolate. I'll take an appointment.
And I would also say, like, to add on to that, for the image generations in Chat GPT, there has been the really nice change after GPT 4.0 for image generation. So once you have put some reference image and it creates the 3D renders or it creates the 2D illustrations out of it really beautifully, but there are still some errors that keep on generating. But one of the good things about it is that it has added the in-painting tools. So when you select a portion of the image that is wrongly generated, it is able to regenerate it correctly. And it is able to make the medically accurate images like after 10 prompts or after 11 prompts.
Wow. So there's a lot of learning and lot of patience required to actually master this. I'm actually very curious, because I always struggle with the creatives that we need, the flyers that we need for all the various programs, and I'm always pushing the designers, nay, I don't want it tomorrow, I want it today, and I want it now. So, for someone like me, this would be fantastic where I can just do it on my own. I don't need to ask anybody else for something like this. And I was quite happy that Gamma AI can actually do that. So do you
Even for
see?
the flyers and creatives, I would suggest, like, if you go to Ideogram or ChatGPT, these two are the ones which are really good with text, with the designs. And if you just give the prompt, it would generate it within like 5 to 10 seconds. And beautiful flyers, which most of the graphic designers would take like 1 or 2 days for. But I'm sure.
I think we are moving towards, just sort of digital creativity rather than anything else. But we are forgetting that, it's all fed in and actually it has learned from us. So if we stop creating, it's not going to further procreate sort of on its own. So Chat GPT to me seems like the answer to most of the things, basic at least. Would you agree? Would you all agree, all three of you?
Yeah, I have a slightly add on to this. Yes, ChatGPT is a good engine, but when it comes to content or communication, I would rely more on Claude. Why? Because if we measure the intelligence of content generation out of all the tools which are there in market right now, as of now, as of today, Claude 3.7 has been the most human-like or creative in terms of the actual content. So just to break down, if you're planning to create a flyer, let the content be generated by Claude and let the image management of that content be taken over by other tools. So this is one observation or rather feedback I've noticed, because I've played around Grok, I've played around even the new Gemini, but then that crispness of that content is really dynamic with Claude. It's a little less discussed platform in Asian part. It's more used in Europe, but then this is one observation which has been there for the content part. Yeah.
That's
I'll share one more thing, Purvi. The thing is, see, we need to understand one thing. Where do these we call them generative AIs, from where do they derive their information? These are large language models. They are trained on a lot of internet searches. So, President Trump, when you would type the word idiot, his image would keep coming. It was a very well known feature. So, what we all type, so you have Google patients. So, a lot of hallucinations are created by these because they are not trained on medical knowledge. So the day we have an AI or an LLM, which is knowledge bases only the medical literature, you will get accurate information. So there is a lot of hallucination from all engines, including Claude. But Claude and Perplexity, the designers have designed it in such a way that they don't go hunting everywhere. Unlike ChatGPT and Grok. Grok is more intelligent than but ChatGPT, one thing which I have realized in my experience, it behaves very differently at different times. Very unpredictable. Sometimes it will give you results astounding, better than Claude. Sometimes it will drive you nuts. You just can't get the right output. So it depends a lot. But the best way, what Hirsch showed and what we all do is, when we are writing an article, so that we don't show plagiarism and a lot of nonsense, we upload the data. We upload the data that we wanted to see, and we tell very clearly, do not go beyond this data, stick to this data only. Then the output that you get is phenomenally good. And then if you use Grok or ChatGPT, you will get a much better output than if you use Claude or Perplexity. But Claude and Perplexity can give you a very good starting point. And Claude and Perplexity, and especially Claude, has got a very good feature. You don't have to learn prompt engineering yourself. It generates fantastic prompts which you can use in ChatGPT. One word about Copilot. Copilot is an engine inbuilt by Microsoft in all its product. It's very good, but Copilot does not deliver the goods that ChatGPT does. And those of you who have used Gemini now, the latest V2 version of Gemini, it is doing fantastic work. It is actually sitting and hitting ChatGPT in many places. Sometimes you get much better output from Gemini V2 than you're getting. So you have to choose. One more thing about ChatGPT, if you've got a licensed version, you have the Omni and you have the, I think, the 4A, which is I'm not remembering clearly, which is deep research. So if you use that, it will take some time. It won't give you the output fast, but it gives you sometimes extremely accurate output, which is mind-boggling. From where did it? It really gives you a mind-boggling output, but you have to be a little patient. 4O is a basic, generalized, all-purpose chat GPT engine which balances output and speed at the same time. I won't go into it because we'll take another 1 hour. So the time is restricted, but this is some basic thing that people should know. The bottom line is what everybody says, any AI guy will tell you, and I'm sure Neil will agree, everything depends on your prompt. If you have a very intelligent RM or a very intelligent assistant or very intelligent child, it is your problem if you don't know how to rear up that child. Everything depends on how the parents behave. The better the parents behave, the better the child would be. You behave nicely with AI, it will give you fantastic outputs. And I really address it, dear Chat GPT, sweetheart, please give me good results. You're frustrating me. I've shown it. It says, I apologize, sweetheart. Now I will give you. And believe me, it gives me the most fantastic result when I don't use that word. You might laugh at me. You might think I'm going bonkers, but this is my experience. It does react with a lot of personality. And only ChatGPT does that. Other engines are least bothered how you address them. Just sharing this out of my experience. I know it's getting recorded. I hope you don't mind. But just one tip, which has got no scientific basis. Talk very sweetly with the AI engine. They give you a much better output.
I had a rate
Absolute
limit
Star Trek.
yesterday with the amount of images that I generated for this presentation. And when I told ChatGPT, dear ChatGPT, it just started creating again. So that's very true.
Oh. Okay, so we will keep that in mind. And really, a big, big thank you for doing this for DTech. DTech Dialogues was very riveting today, and people have already asked for the recordings and the screenshots. I've done my bit. Every time you all prompted us to take a snapshot of the prompt and other things, I've done that. I've also made a few recordings. But yes, long way to go till we can master this. So yes, I think I think we would be comfortable saying it's with a personal touch, even if it's with AI, if we learn to master it and do it. So thank you again for all your efforts for this particular session. I think it went really seamlessly because of your internal coordination also, and for bringing the most important highlights for our audience. Thank you again, and we will see you soon.
Just one last three words, will be something which you will like, since you're from a research background. I think if Murthy sir is listening, he would like it. I've started dirtying my hands with biostatistics with AI tools. There are dedicated AI tools also for that, and I'm sure Neil will agree. I'm getting phenomenal results when I'm doing statistics rather than statistical tools like MPSS and all. I'm taking data, big data. Big data means real big data, 40,000, 60,000 patients, like you see in international articles. And I'm getting fantastic outputs unheard of from biostatistics. And my friends are very happy. And not only that, the advantage with AI, it can tell you how the data would behave 6 months from now, which no statistic tool can behave. So I'm probably, we are going to shut off the jobs of our statistician colleagues and partners if you really master it. Something which I wanted to bring here that people should know. AI is phenomenal, and I'm getting very good results with statistics regarding the crunchings it is doing,
Oh,
like K square. Just wanted to share with you, Purvi, and others who are
oh,
listening.
that's great. I'm
It's
very
fantastic.
happy to, to welcome your thoughts on because you are an AI enthusiast. But, from coming from a hardcore clinical research background, I will say that, it's a long way before we can validate it and then start using it. This is not FDA approved or accepted either. So yes, I understand it's your enthusiasm and, which is really very encouraging. And I would love that more and more researchers also dabble with it and get a feel of what's going on. So I'm very impressed, there's no doubt. But yes, we are still, we definitely have to be a little cautious while treading on this. So the enthusiasm and the wonders that we can create, we also need to be able to validate them and to see if they really are or indeed credible enough for us to be accepting them in real life.
Purvi,
Yes,
can I say one thing? Yeah.
yes, of course you
Yeah,
should.
if I'm allowed, sorry, I was on a call in between. One thing that I think Harsh mentioned in his presentation is that if we use these AI tools for getting some content or beautification of our slides, I think we should disclose that. So I started doing that in ATTD, and then even for DTechCon, we are writing to all speakers that in the disclosure slide, please mention if you have used AI, for what purpose you have used it, so that the audience is very clear. And second thing that I think we must be careful is we should not change our presentation based on the AI output. So many times I see that people just get a downloaded PPT from some AI tool, and then they mold their own presentation based on what is the output that is given. So let's not work at the hand of AI and present something which is created by AI, but use it for creating what we want to make. So that's what I think is my take home message from this presentation. Thank you.
I tend to agree with that completely actually because I think enthusiasm, like I said, is great. We have to learn, there's no way out, and we should master it and perfect it as much as possible as we move ahead. But a little bit of caution is required. So it's not to burst the bubble or anything. Alok, don't look so sad.
I'm just listening. I'm not looking sad. I'm happy.
Great. So we had a fantastic session. All thanks to you guys. And yes, see you soon, Dr. Alok, Dr. Harsh, and Dr. Neil. Really kudos to all the efforts you took today for DTech Dialogues. And a very big thank you to the USV team who facilitates everything. Amit, Abhay, and of course Sachinji at the top. You guys are fantastic helping us disseminate DTech Dialogues. So thank you again very much from the entire team of DTech.
Thank you. Thank you, Purvi, and thanks to all
Thank
of
you.
you. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.